everybody! So as you all probably know, the Vampire Academy movie is finally coming out Friday. And to celebrate, I wanted to do a special little Vampire Academy themed video. So I went online and I scrolled around on Tumblr and YouTube looking for a good Vampire Academy tag video. And I found a video that I really like, which was created by Eagles Read on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get started. Now this question I'm still going back and forth with because I honestly don't know if I'd want to be a Moroi or a Dhampir. There's like pros and cons to both, and literally I am such a book nerd that I made a pros and cons list in my head. Pro for being a Dhampir is you're super like strong and all that blah blah blah, while a con is that you like have to spend your whole life either protecting the Moroi, which I'm not ready to be a human shield for other people, and definitely not doing the whole blood whore thing, so that's off the table. And then I was like, I'll just be a Moroi then, I'll pick being a Moroi. But then I remembered they don't get to go out in the sun, and as much as I don't like being outdoors, I do like the feel of the sun, and if that made me sweat uncomfortably, I don't know if I'd like it. And I also don't really like the idea of having to drink human blood to survive. It freaks me the heck out, like, ugh. I wish there was like another option, like maybe alchemist, because I feel like I'd go with rogue alchemist, because then I could still go out in the sun, I wouldn't have to drink human blood, and I also wouldn't have to be a shield, and I could work my little chemistry magic, even though I've never been good in chemistry. But rogue alchemist is what I pick, even though it's not an option, sorry. Now, I don't know if this is just me, like, hoping, but I'm gonna lean in a little to the bloodlines and say that the character I am most like is Sydney. I don't know if I am as smart as her. I kind of wish and hope I am, but I do love reading and I love school, like the learning aspect of it like she does. And, yeah, if Adrian said he wanted to date me, I would be all over that. The actual, like, Vampire Academy universe, since I know Sydney is kind of on the outskirts of that, I don't really know who I'm like. Can I pick Jill? Because I feel like I'm like Jill. I'm not really like any of them. My favorite book in the series is the first one, Vampire Academy, which is why I'm very excited to see how this movie goes, and I am seriously hoping that they don't screw it up, because some of the trailers, I don't like how they look, and I'm like, come on guys, this is my favorite book. I just think it was really different, and I love being introduced to Rose's voice, and I think I like the story the most in this one. Probably this story and the last book's story are my favorite in like the entire series, and I just think it's before everything got so serious and deadly and blah blah blah, and it was the introduction to the series. It's the book that made me fall in love with it, and I'm very excited to see how the movie's gonna turn, so I'm gonna stick with Vampire Academy as my favorite book in the series. Now, I have a confession to make, and please don't hit me when I say it. I haven't actually read all of the Vampire Academy books. Oops. What happened was, when I originally read the series, I read the first book, the second book, and then for some reason skipped all the way to the last book. I don't know how that happened. But then I went back last year and I was like, you know what, Miranda, you gotta finish the series, you gotta reread it. Like, I had no idea about how Adrian and Rose had like a relationship. I was just like, what? So I went back and I read, I think I started with the third, yeah, I read the third one and the fifth one. I skipped the fourth one. Yeah, I don't really know why I skipped the fourth one. I think it was because I borrowed them from my friend and I wanted to give them back to her before school got out for the summer. So I felt like the fourth one was just kind of pointless because I knew what happened from looking it up on Wikipedia. Oops. And I just felt like it was kind of like she didn't get Dimitri back in that one, so I just kind of skipped that one. I do really like all the books in the series. I think they're very strong, but if I did have to pick one out of the ones I've read, which was like my least favorite, I guess I would go with Spiritbound, just because I felt like Rose was really out of character in that book. Like, there were times when I had to put it down because she was just frustrating me so much. Like, her whole thing with Adrian and Dimitri, like, I was just like, oh, it was just frustrating me so much, and I literally, like, ugh, like, it had good parts to it. I like the whole when they like saved Dimitri, and that's why like I'm hesitant to say it was a bad book, because it's not a bad book, it had good parts. But as I remember, like, the whole thing about how Rose just botched everything with Adrian and was like so obsessed with Dimitri, I have to say that that one is probably my least favorite of the ones I've read. This answer probably isn't going to shock a lot of people because the character I'm most looking forward to seeing on screen is, of course, Rose Hathaway, and I don't really know how I'm going to feel about seeing her on screen because on the one hand, Zoe Dutch does not really look like what I picture her, and I don't really know what she's going to do with the character. I feel like she doesn't look like what I pictured for Rose from the beginning when they announced her casting. And I love Zoe Dutch. I loved her in Beautiful Creatures. I watched her on Sweet Life on Deck, if you can remember that show. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt because she is starting to grow on me. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna, like, picture her as Rose in my mind like I do with Lily Collins and Clary, because I picture her when I read Clary. So I don't think I'll ever, like, picture her when I'm reading Rose, but if she can do an okay, like a B+ job, I'll be okay with that, and I'll be comfortable with seeing her on screen as Rose, even though I'm not picturing her as Rose. I don't know. I haven't ever really thought about this, which is weird to me because it's like, isn't that what everyone should think about when they're reading it? I guess I would have to go with water, which I think was Mia's element and possibly Jill's. I've always just loved water and like the idea of a beach and swimming. So being able to control water would be really awesome. However, I would not go around talking like they do in the movie and being like, I'll just water magic myself. That scene in the movie, I can't take it seriously when Christian is like, don't make me fall in magic, you Mia. And she's like, I'll just water magic myself, because they never talk like that in the books. No one talks like that in real life. And if I had water powers, I would not say that it's magic water. I would not be like, I'm just gonna water magic my shower right now, so yeah, I'm just, water magicking everything. Like, I would not talk like that. But if I could control an element, it would definitely be water. And I feel like you'd be a lot safer that way too, because if you go to the beach, you could like never drown because you could just stop it. And then like, could you be like Percy Jackson and like talk underwater and stuff? Because you could like make an air bubble, or would you need to like control air for that? Oh, this is a dangerous question because I can start going on a rant about it. I don't know. Some people say the movie looks great from those cheesy trailers where they're just like completely like, I don't know, making fun of vampire movies. I just like, I don't know, the books are just like, I think they're designed a certain way, and yes, I know they have the funny, like sarcastic element and they're not that serious, but at the same time I feel like they should be treated like City of Bones, like a serious action movie. And yes, it can have the funny moments because the other ones did too, but I really want to see the action. I don't want to see this like Natalie licking the blood off the walls and Lissa carrying a cat around with her, and like I don't get it. And I really like, it's not that I don't think it shouldn't be funny, because I think that they should put the funny moments in. I just don't think it should be this like Mean Girls with vampires that they're trying to turn it into. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I can't really get like a good feel of the movie because it's like they'll come out with one trailer where it looks like it's just gonna be a big like parody of everything, and then they have another trailer where it's like it looks amazing and like so action packed, like the kind of movie that I'm hoping it will be. So I'm just really confused by what's like happening with this movie right now. I don't know. Definitely the thing that I'm most excited for is the climactic scene where Lissa gets kidnapped and then Rose has to go and find her. We've seen like little glimpses of that in the trailer, and from what I've seen, aside from the whole part with Christian where they're just like kissing and it's like a dark room and it's red, and I'm just like, what is this right now? Aside from that, I'm real excited to see it, how they're gonna play, like, because I feel like, and this is a problem with the Maze Runner movie too, it's easy to write bonds in books like the one that Lissa and Rose have, but it's hard kind of to portray it on screen while like letting the audience know what happens, because in a book you can just be like, oh yeah, sometimes I slip into Lissa's mind, but in a movie you have to realize that it's Rose still, but she's like seeing it through Lissa's point of view. So I'm curious to see how that would be, because I thought they would just cut it out like they're doing in the Maze Runner movie, but then I remembered that like the end, that's like a big part of it. That's how she finds Lissa, is through the bond. So I'm interested to see if they're gonna keep that in, how they'll explain it, but I'm just, yeah, overall I'm just interested to see that, and then we'll get the Pice Hounds or whatever you say that, and like that whole like action scene, and that just seems like so like the final countdown kind of thing. And then I can't wait to see what happens after with Natalie, because we've seen that where it's like her dress Natalie's, and then just like she just like throws Rose across the floor, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm really excited to see that part. That is probably the scene I'm looking most forward to in the entire movie, and I really hope they do it justice because I've kind of built it up in my mind, so. From 1 to 10, let's see, I'm, I guess, 5.56. Like, I don't think the movie's gonna be that great. I'm willing to give it a chance, but just like, when I compare what I've seen so far about the movie, like the clips, the trailers, all that kind of stuff, it looks more along the lines of like a Beautiful Creatures kind of thing, when I want it to be like Catching Fire or Divergent, where I can literally like pull out moments from the book and be like, this is exactly how I pictured it. Like, yes, in the trailer of Vampire Academy and the clips, there are scenes and lines from the books. It's never like how I pictured it in my mind, and I like when movies are like that. So I feel like maybe I'd be more excited for it if Divergent were coming out next month, and that looks so fantastic, because right now I'm just kind of like, it could be a lot better, and I'm going in with a somewhat open mind to the movie. I'm gonna try my hardest to just like, no judgments, just like see how it is, but then if it does suck, I'm gonna be like, it sucked. If it doesn't suck, I'm gonna be like, I'm really impressed, they did a better job than I thought. But from what I've seen so far, I'm not that excited. I guess I'm more anxious. Like, my anxious meter is probably like an 8, because I'm really just, I want to see what they did. I want to see if my instinct is right and this movie is gonna be not that good, or if I'm just like, I don't know, not into the whole, I'm not getting the whole concept of what they're trying to do with the movie. But just from what I've seen, I'm not overwhelmed with excitement. Like, I'm not knocking down the door to go see the movie. So that is the Vampire Academy tag. I'm pretty proud of myself because I didn't throw that many vampire puns in there. I didn't want to be a drain on you. A drain? Yeah. That was bad, I'm sorry. So, like I said, the movie is coming out Friday, and I'm very anxious to see it and do my little whole discussion video about that, so be on the lookout for that. If you do see the movie, leave what you thought of it in the comments below. If you want to do the tag, I will leave the questions below in the info box. And please like, comment, and subscribe to my videos, and share it with all your friends so I can build up on my subscribers. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Definitely the thing I'm most excited for in the movie is the climactic scene where Lisa, why can't I say her name?